Mr. President, you said yesterday that you would be considering severe consequences for Saudi Arabia about the killing of the journalist. What are you considering?
Well, I think it's too early to say. We want to see. We're doing investigations right now. We have a lot of people working on it. We do, and we have other countries working on it, as you know. It's a very serious problem. You people are going to be very much involved in this too, indirectly and directly. It's something that we don't like. It's very serious stuff. And we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we'll make that determination. I'm going to have very much Congress involved in determining what to do. You remember with Justice Kavanaugh, I said, hey, look, the senators are doing a great job. Senator Grassley, Lindsey, John Cornyn, all of them, every one of them. I said, let them decide what to do in terms of that investigation. And I think I'll have a very similar attitude on this. I think, we have Congress is very much involved. I will, in this case, make certain recommendations. We have $450 billion worth of things ordered from a very rich country, Saudi Arabia. 600,000 jobs, maybe more than that. And it would be very hurtful to this country if we said, oh, we're not going to sell it to you. So there are other things we can do, but I would certainly make that recommendation to Congress. But I will very much listen to what Congress has to say. They feel very strongly about it also. So I'll be doing this with Congress. I do hope that they'll be able to see their way clear to make these products. We're talking about almost every state in the union is affected because it's the largest order ever given. I did this. I went to Saudi Arabia first, and a large part of the reason was they agreed to do this. They agreed to spend $450 billion on buying and investing in the United States. So I hope we can keep that. I hope we don't lose track of that. There are plenty of other things we can do. But we're going to have some answers pretty quickly. But I will have Congress involved, which I think is an important part of your question.
Is sanctions one of the things that you would consider?
Could be. We're going to find out. We're going to find out who knew what, when, and where. And we'll figure it out. Okay. Any other questions?
Mr. President, are you considering curtailing U.S. support for Saudi Arabia's involvement in the Yemeni civil war?
Toward their what?
Saudi's involvement in Yemen, sort of targeting.
So, Saudi Arabia has been a great ally of ours. That's why this is so sad. You look at what goes on in Iran and the viciousness of that regime, and it's brutal. It's a brutal regime. The killing, the horror stories, you hear them and you write about them very well. I know I've seen you write about them very well. It's a tough part of the world, there's no question about it. But Saudi Arabia has been a great ally. They've been a tremendous investor in the United States. They've invested, and the jobs are incredible. In addition, it's a big, we're right now the largest supplier of energy in the world. We are, the United States. And it happened, I hate to tell you, over the last 18 months. And we're now the biggest in the world. But still, they're a major, major supplier. They're actually number 2. And we have to take all of these things into account. Very important. But we're going to know over the next 2 or 3 days, we're going to know a lot. We're getting a lot of information in as we speak. Okay?
Do you expect to have those recommendations for Congress by Monday, or the conclusions of the investigation?
I might know a lot by Monday, yeah. I know a lot already.
Well, I guess there's a question of why you've waited so far to
Well, I think waiting 2 days and making sure everything's right is not so bad.
Okay, so early.
Yeah, but we're gonna have it pretty early. We've done a lot of work on this. Yes.
Sir, as we wait for the results of the investigation, do you regret bringing up last night at your rally the assault on a reporter by a congressman?
No. That was a different world. That was a different league, a different world. No, he's just a great guy, and he's you know Greg very well, right? It was that was a tremendous success last night in Montana, and Greg is a tremendous person, and he's a tough cookie, and I'll stay with that. You're talking about a different world. Anything else?
Mr. President, today the Justice Department unsealed an indictment against a Russian national who was accused of trying to influence the election in 2018.
Nothing to do with my campaign. You know, all of the hackers and all of everybody that you see, nothing to do with my campaign. If they're hackers, a lot of them probably like Hillary Clinton better than me. Now they do. Now they do. But, you know, they go after some hacker in Russia and they say, oh, that had nothing to do with my campaign.
Would you have any warning to Russia or other countries or state actors that would try to?
I've already said it. And, you know, I always say this, Kevin, you've heard me say this many times, you've said it. President Obama was contacted by the FBI in September, long before the election in November. And they told him there may be meddling by the Russians. And he did nothing about it because he thought Hillary Clinton would win. He did nothing. He didn't lift a finger. He didn't spend a dime. We've done a lot to protect the elections coming up very shortly. But President Obama, people don't want to bring it up. The fake news don't want to bring it up. President Obama was told in September by the FBI that there could be problems with Russian meddling. Now, the good thing is, every single report, as you know, Richard Burr came out, Senator Richard Burr, head of the Senate Intelligence. They said, do you see any collusion? No collusion. I've seen no collusion whatsoever. Very strong. Couldn't be stronger. But the good news is it never affected, whatever did take place, never affected the vote. And everybody agrees to that. Never affected the vote. The candidate affected the vote. The bad candidate. She should have gone to Wisconsin. She should have gone more to North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Florida. She should have gone out a little bit more. She had to work a little bit harder. That affected the vote. Okay, how about one more?
What specifically are you going to do about this caravan that's headed toward the U.S.? Have you thought about specific actions?
So we have the worst laws in the history of the world because we don't have a big enough majority. We have great people standing behind me. We could write up the laws in a half an hour. You'd have the greatest laws that would stop all the problems. Problem is we need support from Democrats because we have small majorities, especially in the Senate. Yeah. Because in the Senate, we need 9 votes. We're not going to get 9 votes. They're not going to vote. They always vote in a block. They'll do anything to hurt the Republican Party, even if it hurts, and me in particular, by the way, I hate to say, but even if it hurts, no matter what, even if it hurts our nation, we could have laws drawn in 1 hour or less. They're already drawn to solve every one of these problems, but we can't get the Democrats. That's why I hope Republicans get out and vote and give us majorities where we can do what we have to do. But we give a lot of money to these countries. If you look at El Salvador, if you look at what we give to Honduras and Guatemala, tens of millions of dollars. In one case, $400 million. They do nothing for us. I called them, I said very nicely, you're not going to get any money if you let this happen. And all of a sudden, they're starting to close it up tightly. They're trying. But a lot of people have gathered, and a lot of people are looking at Democrats. Why did they gather? You know, there's a lot of information that is being, hopefully you people are looking, but how come this happened? Because people are saying there's a lot of money being passed around so that this would normally hit just before election. But I happen to think it's a great issue for the Republicans. This is a great Republican issue. With that being said, I called Mexico. We just drew a great new deal with Mexico. We have a very good relationship with Mexico. I said, look, we have lousy laws. I hope you're not going to let these people come through your country and march 1,000 miles up through your country and come through our borders because our laws are horrendous. And as of this moment, you see better than I do because I haven't been able to see it. We've been so busy with water for California. But it's being stopped as of this moment by Mexico. So we appreciate very much what Mexico is doing. But as of this moment, you see what's happening. It's being stopped. But you have 4,000 people got together. And they got together in a certain way. And a lot of people, I hope you people are going to look at why this happened at this time. But it's okay. We are about law and order and borders and jobs. And they are about allowing crime to enter our country with open borders. Because many of those people, a percentage, a big, fairly big percentage of those people are criminals. And they want to come into our country. And they're criminals. And it's not happening on my watch. It's not going to happen. So as of this moment, I thank Mexico. I hope they continue, but as of this moment, I thank Mexico. If that doesn't work out, we're calling up the military. Not the Guard, we're calling up the military. And we're going to have the military stationed. They're not coming into this country. They might as well turn back. They're not coming into this country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.